Everyone for showing up tonight and supporting what we're trying to do here. The plan is that you're going to hear tonight delivered by Cookie's Consultant. Basically, it's a 5-year strategic plan and development plan, and it's a vision for where this club wants to go. Obviously, there's Richard here and myself and a few others have worked on it for, I'd say, we've got to 2 months now, 3 months. Obviously, we've brought the architect in. He's doing the business for us. He's going to explain a bit about the redevelopments in Inverary. But this is all for your benefit and your kids' benefit, and hopefully we can push forward and make our vision happen. And believe me, we can't do this on our own. We need everyone in this room fighting together to make this happen. This is impossible to do on your own. We need everyone coming in behind, all the coaches, all the committee, and everyone connected to East Belfast in order to make this happen. We're not getting too much support from our political parties at the minute, and hopefully that'll change. We won't be lobbying hard to make this happen, folks, so hope you enjoy us here. I want to pass this on. Sorry, first of all, I want to get Warren for you, and I really appreciate you coming here, Warren, because I know you're away, man. I wish you all the luck at your new job, son. But I want to bring Warren for you. He's going to give you a wee bit of background.
First of all, thank you for obviously inviting me here tonight. I think this is working really, is it? But no, thank you for inviting me here tonight. Obviously it's been a crazy couple of days for me personally. And obviously I made a decision to go across the water, straight bags packed, and that's my apologies tonight. I can't stay for it all. We'll do my speech and then I'll get out of here. I have a couple of meetings to do. But look, I think it's fantastic. You know, my kids, family were over in the summer. My wee lads, they kind of asked, they welcomed my family with open arms, the club. Loved it. As I say to you, and what I look in England at the junior setups over there, I don't think they're nowhere near half as good as what East Belfast has. And for me, that's down to the parents, the community, and the representatives of the club. I think it's a great family club. Projects like these, I put my full support behind it, but you just need to drive on with it, and hopefully you'll get the backings, as David said, because it's a great club. The important things are kids for me. You know, listen, we all love running around the playgrounds, and that was the best age, you see these wee ones here. You know, I was over with my son George at that age, but I think it's fantastic. Give the full backings of my support. You know, it's a great club, and East Belfast man myself. All the best for the future.
Okay, thanks very much for coming. Good to see so many people in the room. And we're trying to just give you what the vision is in terms of where the club wants to go. There's been a bit of work done around a development plan. And if you look, on the first page, there's some key words. If I can find space. You can see there's opportunity, sport, recreation, good relations, inclusion. These are key words that the club have built this development plan on. So setting the scene, why are we here? I'm not going to use that mic actually, I'm just going to shout it out. Community consultation event tonight, as he says, to try and inform you people, the community, club members, volunteers, on the ongoing club development. Okay? The Club Management Committee have taken the initiative to engage with ourselves and other stakeholders to try and improve the environment for the club, both in terms of the physical environment, in terms of pitches, playing facilities, but also to build the capacity of the club, to build the capacity, train, skill up volunteers, coaches, parents. Barcelona have that cheesy saying, more than a club, and everybody sort of likes to tag themselves, but in my brief sort of 5 or 6 months working with David and the others out of the club, I can see that the club is embedded in the community, and it is more than a club, okay, and that means it holds so much potential. So this process is about unlocking that potential, and the club development plan sets out what the club structure should be to make it fit for purpose. It's okay saying give us a 3G pitch or a number of 3G pitches, new changing rooms, give us funding, public money. You as a club and the management committee have to have the right structure in place to manage that. Funders, government will want to see the investment that they give you as a club managed in the correct manner. Okay? So the development plan helps you to build a structure and have the skills in place to manage that correctly. The primary focus of the redevelopment, I shouldn't really say primary focus, but the focus of the development of the club in terms of facilities is Tommy Patton playing fields, making that a place that the club can be proud of. I'm a volunteer in a football club myself, and recently we were lucky enough to get a 3G pitch, and I can see the improvement that has brought to the club in terms of a safe environment for the young people to come and play in, but for people of all ages, even those who don't play competitive football any longer. There's a few of us get together on a Thursday night, don't play anymore, but we can kick lumps out of each other. It's called the veterans football. But so there's all levels of people can play and use these facilities. So the project proposal includes significant development of the sports facilities located at Inverary Avenue. That includes, and Paul Durnian is going to show you the vision, what that looks like, and talk you through it in a second. But we're talking about new floodlit training pitches, new changing room and function rooms. Function rooms, that can be community rooms as well, because we want the activity of the club. Yes, the primary objective, the primary focus of the club is about football, but we were talking about being more than a football club. What does that mean? It means offering educational courses for volunteers, for young people, for people who are unemployed. So the club is reaching out and connecting with the local community. You're using that interest in football to do more than just the football, but make the community a better place to live. Okay? Main floodlit 3G pitch, small-sided 3G pitches, seconds pitch and the 9-a-side pitch. So for now, that's just setting the scene, explaining why we all came here tonight. So I'm going to introduce Mr. Paul Durnian from Durnian Surveyors, who's going to take you through a number of slides just to show you what this is shaping up to look like. Okay, so you can start to get it into your mind.
This is really the start of really a 5 to 10 year plan, which the plan is to deliver for East Belfast, really what sort of the club needs for its future development, but also it brings into account everything that the local community needs in relation to not only sort of the playing facilities, but just the overall development of sort of both boys football, girls football, and as Richard was saying, even people as old as him playing football, that they can all join in and work their whole way through. So basically sort of up on the screen at the moment is the overall master plan where we hope to get to at some point in the future. And this all obviously depends on available funding and whatever, but the idea is that it will be done in a phase development. Now, we'll run through various phases and they've all got a phase number. Depending on the way that funding comes through, the phases can interchange backwards and forwards. So phase 1 may not be phase 1 if the funding for phase 2 comes first. So we can work through it as more or less a shopping list for the club, just as funding comes up and as individual needs are met. So we'll have a quick look at the one that we're primarily looking at, sort of hopefully with available funding, is a 3G flooded pitch, which is adjacent on the right hand side to, as you look at the current first team pitch, it's on the side where there's currently 2 small-sided games pitches. And again, that would be a full-size 3G pitch that can be used sort of by the club for training. It can be used by the community for hire. It can be used by the junior teams and whatever, working through, because the whole intention is to have for the club the full gambit of small-sided pitches, so that the boys and girls can develop sort of from sort of the youngest ages up through from a 5-a-side size to 7-a-side size to 7-a-side or to a 9-a-side pitch, right to the full-size pitches, so that everything that the club needs is actually on their own facilities. They don't have to go anywhere else. It's an all-inclusive club for everybody. So as you can see, sort of it's a bit smaller than the current first team pitch, but it's still a good size and can be used up to amateur league level. So that's where the club can use it for for their senior teams, but also then any other team that sort of in the vicinity who needs a pitch can also use it. We've shown phase 2 as being a new changing room block, but that would incorporate, it's envisaged that it would incorporate 4 changing rooms on the ground floor, which would all be sort of sized for basically all sizes of teams. And then on the first floor there would be community rooms. Now these can be used for community meetings, it can be used for adult education, it can be used for sports education, it can be used for keep fit, Pilates, yoga, anything like that. It's something that the club and the community can use just to fully support everything that the club want to do in both sports development and also in community development in the area. And it's something that's probably not, as far as we're aware, it's not really available in the area, sort of in the Inverary area, to be able to use something that's, say for example, sort of parents can come drop the kids off for training. They could go up and even be it just for vending machines for coffee and tea and stuff like that. But it also starts to build up a community within the parents, community within the club itself. So we see that as being sort of a key part to the overall development. And as I say, we would see it as the current changing facilities aren't that great at the moment. So as the club develops, and as the product that's being provided develops, there's going to be the need for new up-to-date changing facilities, as I say, from juniors the whole way through. And if you're having 3G pitches, you always need a minimum 4 changing rooms for 2 teams if they're playing, and then the 2 teams that are following on, because the usage can grow quite dramatically. Yeah, this is the big boys pitch. So the intention there is to still retain it as being a grass pitch, but to upgrade the floodlights and upgrade then the facilities on the pitch, which would be a 206-seater stand, new dugouts, and basically improving the whole environment around the pitch, so that the club have sort of really one of the best pitches that is available for the league that they're in, but also sort of the environment will allow them to go further up the league. The intention is to future-proof it, so that as the club develops, as the club gets promoted, that the ground can meet those demands. But again, it's very much keeping it still as the first team pitch and as a grass pitch. Phase 4 then is sort of when we start. Obviously, the 3G pitch can start to be used very much for the youth and the training or whatever. But then once we start to develop out, we're looking at the small games. And this is really something, basically 5-side size pitches, where again, sort of the youth can start to train, get taught their skills. But also then, sort of for recreational football, it's actually quite a facility for the club to have, because as opposed to people going, say, up to Stormont or whatever to hire a 3G 5-side pitch there, they could come and hire it from their own club. And again, it starts to build up a revenue for the club. Basically, the 5-side pitches are very much used from sort of around about 5:30 to 10 o'clock at night. Any of the 5-side pitches around Belfast, if you're ever trying to hire one, they're very difficult to get. And if the club then are in a position to be able to control that, so that they can control for the training for their youth and their senior teams, but also then sort of just bring more people into the club, it helps with the overall sustainability of the whole scheme. So we're basically showing 4 3G pitches, which is a reasonable size, easy enough to manage, but not too large. The second pitch then, sort of, we saw is just basically again an upgrade of the existing facility. Sort of there's the option then to put it into a 3G base, sort of should the funding be available, but also then to sort of secure it as a good size second amateur league pitch, which can then be used, as I said before, both for the club or anybody else who needs a pitch. The one thing that you have then in Inverary is very good soil conditions in relation to drainage. If you compare where you are to some of the other pitches, which tend to be more of a soggy mess in the winter, so where you are is sort of fairly well drained. And again, just by an upgrade of it and actually putting in a proper sand-based pitch, you'll be able to find that would be usable for yourselves and for others for a period of time. And this one here, we look at upgrading the floodlights. So that again, it's not full match standard, so it'd be difficult to play full matches sort of in winter evenings. But again, suitable for training and it runs all the way through. And then, as we were saying, sort of the phases can be interchanged, but what we're looking at are sort of the flow for the boys and girls as they run through. And the run for small sided pitches, it's important that you have a proper size, small sided pitch, so that from the development of your own team, you're in control, you don't have to go, you don't have to rent somewhere else. So the likes of the first 3G pitch, it will actually be sized so that in the interim you'll be able to play cross play on it, so that you'll be able to have 2 small sided pitches going across. So having another one will give you both the facility for a full size pitch, 2 9-a-side or 2 7-a-side small sided pitches, and then this one here will give you 9-a-side, which means that sort of the boys from sort of the very earliest ages, 5, 6, they can play right through to senior level on proper sided pitches. And from the club's point of view, it's not a facility that you're ever going to have to go and try and find somewhere else. But as I was saying, it's an all-encompassing master plan. It's where we see that the club can end up with in sort of 5 or 6 years, hopefully, if the money's available. And it's really a facility that East Belfast doesn't have. Sort of be it a senior club or any other club, you have the facilities because you have the ground, or you have the accessibility to the ground to actually build something that will be unique. So probably in Belfast itself, there won't be anything to match this. And then all that can do is further enhance the reputation of the club, further enhance the facilities and the attractiveness of it, not only to sort of, the current members, but to a wider membership. But if anybody has any questions as to where sort of on the physical side of things, happy to take questions.
Now, that all looks fine and dandy, looks great, and I suppose you're sitting thinking, when do we get it? Okay, a wee while yet. So there is a lot of hard work to be done by the club, particularly the management committee and the project working group, to go after the funding that's required to make this vision, these drawings, become a reality. There's never a guarantee that you'll get all you want, but at the other end, if you don't start and make people aware of the need of the club, the need for a facility like this, well then it'll never happen. So it's a process to engage with different funding organisations. It's a process to engage with politicians, and engage with the community, and for members of the club to step up to the mark, because nobody's just going to hand you this on a plate. Okay, so there's a process to go through. But the club development plan is a document that's in place to give you some direction on how to achieve that. Again, it's not a blank check, but it is a document that's going to hopefully structure the club in the right manner to achieve the vision that was up there. So we were commissioned to prepare this document along with the club. Are you boys okay? The club document, or the development document itself, provides key direction for the club. Empowerment of the club to understand the current position and the role they need to play within the local community. Clarity of where exactly the club wants to go and agreement of key actions to get there. Implementation of an ongoing monitoring and review process to allow the club to easily assess the extent to which development has occurred. There's lots of wordy technical slides that we could go through here, okay? I'm not going to go through it word for word. We're starting to build up a picture of what is this document. I could have put the document up, which is a 45-page document, and everybody would have been sleeping, okay? But we're giving you some idea as a community, as club members, volunteers, parents, of what's in it, okay? So if you read down those points that are up there, in terms of the bottom one, empowerment of volunteers, including education and support, So this is trying to help the club go further than just this, be a football facility or be football teams. Now that may interest club members, some club members more than others. Some may just say, well, I'm just here for the football, that's fine. But there will be people who will emerge within the club to do some of the other stuff that's away from the pitch. If you look at clubs such as Cliftonville Crusaders in North Belfast, it's been no accident that those clubs have been able to sustain a challenge on the pitch. And that is down to a number of things that have maybe been happening off the pitch. What do I mean by that? With the 3G pitches they've developed at their sites, they've got the community coming in and using the pitches. So that's building a connection between the community. It's a reason to go to those pitches. It's also creating a revenue. So those clubs, from a footballing side of things, can go out and get a better standard of player. Okay, and that's reflected in the success they've had in recent years. Also, a club like your own, the revenue coming off these pitches won't go to someone to walk away with a big dividend as a profit. The money will all be reinvested into the club. It may subsidise transport, it may subsidise kit, buy new equipment, pay for training of coaches. To get the coaching badges can be expensive, the higher you go. So that money, also the community training that we talk about, they can pay for people to do courses, to get some sort of qualifications, or make them, to give them the chance to access employment or improve their employment position. So you can see that the pitches unlock revenue, they bring more people to your club. Okay. It also builds empathy within the community. People connect and see you as a club they can identify with. And that might get a few more people coming to watch your games. You could argue that's happened in the case of Crusaders and Cliftonville, because people have started to see that the clubs are sincere about connecting with the community, so they tend to go, I give them a tenner on a Saturday and go and watch the game, so it creates more revenue into the club. Again, I'm not going to bore you with all this, but it's giving you an idea of the reason behind the development plan. The development of a community-led first-rate sporting facility in East Belfast. The first team manager might not like this one. Senior club should be winning the Premier League of the Amateur League within 5 years. So, development of world-class youth football academy that will fuel the development and success of the club for many generations. To have the best coaches and coaching infrastructure, and to be financially secure, so that time and energy can be spent on developing the club rather than running after money in terms of sponsorship and things, really to keep the door open, which I imagine the club has to do a lot at the moment. So that's setting out the club ambitions. The reason behind the development plan is to document the club's ambitions in detail, the steps that need to be taken to ensure this fancy, lovely sounding plan becomes a reality. Like I say, there's no guarantee, just because we've put on a lovely wee flash presentation up here thinking this is going to happen. But it's given us a good starting point, somewhere to start from, and to start a process. To help secure the necessary resources and funding that the club will require to deliver this plan and their vision. To use the document as a way of attracting talented players and coaches to the club. To be used in monthly management meetings as a way of updating the committee on progress. So you can use this document to sort of measure, well, are we getting anywhere with this? And how far are we getting with it? Or if we're not getting somewhere, well, do we need to look at this plan again and address that? Again, structure of the development plan. There's key words in the development plan. Participation, which is about sports development planning, community sports development programs, performance in terms of your coach education and club development plans, and then places. That means the facility ambition, communicating and marketing the club, policies and procedures, management and governance, financial systems. These things that are going to make you a trusted pair of hands to give a few £1 million of funding to make this a reality. SWOT analysis, that's basically looking at the strengths, opportunities, weaknesses and threats in terms of the club now and going forward. We're not going to go into that in detail. Again, key aims. Under participation, provide comprehensive sports and physical activity programmes aimed at increasing participation, club membership. The reinstatement of the Youth Academy will be central to the club's success in future years. And that's something I know the first team and the second team, the men's teams, are doing particularly well at the moment. But it's, you know, my impression of meeting the guys from the club, there's so many young people wanting to be members of this club. And what's been achieved in the last 18 months has been amazing in terms of going from, it was nothing, to 100 and...
It was 7 players in the first team.
And how many young players?
We've got, I think it's up to 11 teams, so 150 to 200 kids now.
That's amazing.
That's just the kids.
You've got the sheer presence, you've got the numbers in terms of to make one of these 3G pitches sustainable, to ensure that it's not sitting idle and not being used, because that would be a waste of money and a funder will not want to look at you. But the numbers of people involved in the club, you know, a pitch would be absolutely sustainable. Okay. To use sport and associated programmes at our proposed shared sports facility as a medium for addressing local socio-economic issues in the greater East Belfast area. To make East Belfast FC a well-run club, competent, efficient organisation that delivers top quality sports services in East Belfast. Performance to ensure high quality coach education underpins all sports and physical activity programme at East Belfast Football Club. And the last of these places to provide East Belfast Football Club members, players, officials, coaches, supporters, residents from the area with a safe and secure state-of-the-art community sports facility to increase physical activity and sport in the area, to raise the profile of the club amongst the community, and to underpin everything the club do to facilitate youth football academy with robust best practice policies and procedures. Some of this is very technical and heavy going in terms of what we're talking about here. To sum up, okay, there's only 2 slides left. We're nearly there.
Not that formative.
The Sports Development Plan has outlined the club's intentions. Okay, we're talking about helping the health and well-being of a community. We're talking about participation in sport, improving the club in terms of a competitive club. And just to acknowledge, the club have a rich history, which in the first 3 or 4 pages of the development plan itself you can read about and maybe learn something about the club. And it's been embedded in the local community here in East Belfast. I would say that the club has come to a crossroads in its development. That's not saying it's a bad situation, but it comes to a crossroads that presents opportunities. Okay? If people are willing to work hard to achieve some of these things we're talking about tonight. This development plan sets the scenes for ambitious plans, and they are ambitious. You start out with a master plan, and sometimes it'll work, sometimes it'll not. But as I say, if you don't try, if you don't structure the club right, if you don't put your case across to the right people, the money people, the funders, the politicians, and other stakeholders, well then you'll never get it. But this is the start of a journey, I guess, in terms of the club developing this facility. And to a degree, myself and colleagues in Copebase and Paul, we don't want to come here and raise your expectation and say this is definitely going to happen. We want to come here and say that there's a possibility this can happen, but there's no guarantee. Okay? So the development plan sets out aims, objectives to try and guide the club, outline your responsibilities, and also talk about potential partnerships. Because your own club, yes, it has enough members to run one of these pitches, to make it sustainable, to make sure it's used enough. But with the development of other 3G pitches, you're going to have to reach out to other clubs within the local area here, other community organisations, schools, who will come in and use it. One, that's the club making a positive contribution to the community. And two, to think about the revenue it's creating for you as a club. Okay? You'll be glad to know, particularly the front row here, that's it over.
Yay!
But we will take questions if there are any. Okay?
How much is all this going to cost?
Yeah, the overall sort of development cost would be around about £2.5 million.
Well, that wouldn't be difficult. What was it to give you half of it?
Yeah.
Mark, are you showing your boats?
It would be very much on a phased programme, depending on how the money comes along. So, say for example, if the first phase turned out to be the 3G pitch with the floodlights, for the size of pitch, whatever we're talking about, around about £400,000 for it. Which again, sort of in the scheme of things for 3G pitches, isn't bad, And the fact that, as I say, from Richard's side, they'll be able to demonstrate the use and the revenue from it. Then, from the funder point of view, that should be a deliverable project, And again, Sir Richard will explain to you, once you deliver one project, then it's actually easier to get the second one.
And the time scale for doing each one that you got funding for one, or three or four phase, or what is the time scale? And
yeah, well, I think sort of what the next step would be to get a planning approval for various elements, and it's working through that and be setting it up in such a way as sort of the club aren't saddled with sort of very large planning fees. If it's a not-for-profit or a charitable basis going through, then you don't have to pay any sort of planning fees for the applications. So it'd be doing it in a way that's structured to get you to where you want to be with a sort of a low cost to the club.
Paul, how far are we away from obviously putting planning permission in?
Well, for example, for a 3G pitch, we could have that in within sort of a week and a half. Sort of there's not an awful lot more to be done in it. Sort of basically, sort of for the likes of the pitch, they're fairly straightforward. Now, because of where the site is, as I was saying to David, there are a number of issues and sort of political representation would assist in. We find that Belfast City Council are sort of their planning don't really assist an awful lot of community groups unless they get enough political support. Where the ground is, it's old reclaim land. Now, no one can remember when it was reclaimed because it was sort of from the early 50s or whatever, the old dumps and whatever. But because of that, sort of the City Council now have decided that most of those old pitches should have soil tests. Now, the fact that Belfast City Council own them, Belfast City Council managed them for years, they're now asking clubs to pay for reports to say that the council land is safe. Now we found that other clubs have actually, with political support, have actually got the council to do these sorts of reports, and because ultimately, sort of the law says the polluter should pay, and the polluter for these lands is the city council. So there's a good argument to be had that for these types of reports, the city council should be paying for them. And if it can be that we can do it, or if the club can get structured in a certain way, you don't have to pay the planning fee, then from the club point of view, it's easy to get the planning application in and it's a lot quicker. It may be better to put it in 2 or 3 different applications, but either way, the club can decide where the priorities are and we can sort of act on those.
Right. Richard, in asking you a question, obviously you've seen what's going on at East Belfast Football Club. Do you think we'll be in a good position and obviously to progress something like this?
Absolutely.
You see, obviously you've seen many clubs have obtained obviously state-of-the-art complexes. Do you think that we're in a position now, as we're set, to obtain such a resource?
You're in a strong position for a number of reasons. There's no facility like this within the area that I'm aware of. Okay, and the pitch out there was laid many years ago.
John Spence, maybe able to. Nine.
Okay. Plus, even though it's there, every night I come up here, there's there's people on it, it's used, it's probably oversubscribed, there's probably people who can't get onto it. So from that point of view, you have to highlight the need for it within the area, okay, and that it's going to be used, and demonstrate that the leg of that one is being used to its full capacity. You're going to stage further with the drawings and the whole layout of what's out there as well, so it's unlike what's out there. The other things, your sheer numbers in terms of the people involved in the club. You know, 200 young people, with 40 to 50 senior players. That's a massive step and growth within 2 years, 18 months. Okay, so you can demonstrate that you've got the community behind you as well. And that's another point I'd just like to highlight, that the community needs to rally around the club. The club will take the lead in this, they'll do the heavy lifting to take the whole project forward, but it'll need the support of the community, it'll need the support of parents, friends of the club, you know, people who've maybe never really had a connection with the club but are seeing there's stuff starting to happen that's beyond even the football, and they can maybe get involved. But to give you some idea in terms of, well, when can this happen? Yes, been involved in a number of projects around 3G pitches. I have to say this is pretty ambitious in terms of the number of pitches, okay? But my own club that I'm involved in, I'll talk about them because I'll not go and tell people what's happening in East Belfast and another club and give all your ideas away, but I can talk about my own club. I'm involved in it. About 2.5 years ago we sat down and said we want a 3G pitch. So we had to start the process. Is there any in the area? No. Who else can we get involved in this to support it? Schools, community groups, churches, other football clubs, other sports clubs. So we were building the case. Then we had to get on to the political lobbying. And that was at the same time as working with architects and people doing the drawings, the plans, getting planning permission in. So from that starting point 2.5 years ago, we're a bit like your club here with 4 men's senior teams, a ladies team, 9 underage teams from 17 down to 8. And so we were able to demonstrate this would be sustainable. It's needed in the area. Did our lobbying, and 6 weeks ago we opened our pitch, having secured money from the local council and through the Department of Social Development. So you can see, now, that worked well. That's a good example, because maybe people have been sitting waiting for longer than that. There's uncontrollables, and the uncontrollables are when the funders have money to spend and are willing to spend it. The best you can do is put your project forward and highlight the need, the benefits, how this will transform your club, your community. You can control all of that, putting up your bid, your argument to the funders, but you can't control when they are going to open and call for applications. So you're at their mercy to a degree. But you want to be in people's, you want to be, you want to raise awareness of the club and your plans amongst the right people, so that when the funding does open, that they'll be well known, and you've maybe done some of the hard work already before even writing an application.
Yeah.
Is there any other questions?
If you go through the plans here for Northern Ireland to get the funding and whatever, can you still put this plan as well through to the National Lottery as such, or can you go that way, or... No, I'm just asking you that.
Where do you target the money? More or
You're
less?
asking about who the likely funders would be.
Could you put this to it as well, couldn't you? This whole plan.
You could, yeah. Or you could pick out particular phases of it.
Yeah.
You may say, right, give us, to get all of that at once, I have to admit that we're doing well.
Yeah.
But that's why it's phased, that you can take part of it and sell it to a funder.
Okay.
To give you an idea of funders that we think, people like DECAL, people like DSD, European funded. That's just to give you some examples. Yep.
Well, they give them more than one team in every area. See, like the Welders, the Dallas and the PG pitch, the Welders they've already got 2 million. Where's that leave us?
Well, your project's slightly different. Yours, from my point of view, being independent from both projects, yours is more of a community-based project, where theirs is more in terms of performance. It's a team playing.
The PG pitch or the PG pitch, or why give us one?
Yeah.
Well, I could declare an interest here because I work for both Welders and Dundela.
Okay. your secret.
You know, so they're very much structured around sort of their individual teams, you know, whereas yours is very much a community development. So the knowledge, you know, sort of is a very tight pitch, you know, and that is just purely for their own team, for their own playing, you know. Welders are slightly different because they're moving from, or the plan is to move from where they are into the old junior stadium. Yeah, you know, but it's still very much focused primarily on the team itself, you know, whereas the difference between both Dundela and the Welders and yourselves is that yours is a full club development, whereas theirs isn't on such a basis.
Could you give us some of your ideas how we can get our so-called local politicians on board to start our lobbying to get them to make help with the club? Because they've always seemed to have left these Belfast FC behind. And, you know, if it's, you know, it shows you in here, there's not one on here tonight.
Well, there was one.
There was one.
Right.
You know, all this here, this is for coming together. You know, yes, we're coming together as a community, but you say we need the politicians on board, and not one of you are left to be here. The lessons help all these plans, so could you give us the idea?
Yep.
How we approach these people?
It sounds like there's frustration within the community, within the club, in terms of how the politicians have served the club. So you can react to that in a number of ways. You can be aggressive and start really putting it to them. Or you can start, take your vision from the club and go and meet them. We've done it for other clubs where you go, the councillors meet a certain night, so you know they're going to be there, and you tell them, listen, we're coming, we need 15, 20 minutes of your time, and you take your project to them, display it like that. Well, no, you pre-arrange, you get an appointment, but you make sure they're there. And you can do a wee campaign of saying, you know, on the Facebook, I know it's got, after there was an incident happened in the summer, it just took off. So the club now have got an online presence and can use that. But maybe shame people into supporting you. You know, there's different ways and means to approach this. But I think one of the things is sometimes we blame the politicians without actually having communicated to them what our need is in the right way. Because they're probably hounded. All sorts of clubs, organisations come, we need. What you need to do is go to the politicians, have a clear message, have a good project, and demonstrate the need and the impact, the positive impact that'll have on your community. So you have to try and do it in a nice way. And if it's not getting you anywhere being nice, well then you have to maybe think about doing it other ways.
Hey folks, nearly finished. I want to take us back about, say, almost 2 years ago. Now, I know this is ambitious, and a lot of people say it might not happen, but we took this club back 2 years ago and with 7 players and couldn't field the team away to Rough Round. We just said in 2 years' time, not even 2 years, we'd be here with first, seconds, ladies, 11 junior teams and mini soccer. People that said they're nuts. But here we are. Okay, I know we're ambitious, but you've got the right people on board who are pushing it. And you couldn't have 2 better men here be in your corner. And believe me, everyone's got the drive here to do this. So we are getting it everything we have. Because you go down there on any Saturday morning and even Sunday morning, and you see the kids down there. We're finding it hard to squeeze kids on the sides of the pitch down there. So nobody can tell us it's not needed. I mean, now we've got that all up and running. With like 1 toilet between no disabled access, no nothing. Facilities just aren't up to scratch. The amount of people who are using down in Inverary. But you can rest assured that not only is our junior section going well, but that was to stabilise the whole club. I think people are, I don't know, the talk of people at the minute, I think, me in particular, that we're rounding up kids at the bus stops or kidnapping, I don't know, but we are going like that, and we're continuing to go like that, and we will continue to go like that. So we'll have a team at every age group, and we'll continue to bring them in. So we need somewhere to take them. And at the minute, as Mr. was saying about the need for facilities, I couldn't get training facilities for the kids with all their money. I was nearly actually considering going to Bangor, because that was the closest place I could get to train the kids. Now, we've got a few things sorted and we'll squeeze them in, but the way we're going, there's no chance we'll be able to hold out the amount of team group up now. So you can rest assured we'll be doing everything we can to make this a reality. So on that, thanks for coming tonight, folks. as far as I'm aware, that's all. He can go home. So,
No, it's-
thank you. One more. Sorry. First and foremost, I think Richard and Paul for coming from Copious to put their presentation to us. This presentation is all about you people, us, the club, East Belfast. What we do up there is what you do on the pitch on a Saturday, play together. These people want to try and push this forward for us. We want to try and make it happen. Davey and Ryan and all is doing a good job with Richard and all. They're going to meetings, they're trying to sort things out, they're trying to get people on board. We need your support in this. It's not just 2 or 3 guys, it's the whole East Belfast Association Football Club that has to come along and get on board with us and do this with everybody. And that's up to you, okay? Thank you.